have Madison, Andrea, and Paul, plus some more from the Teens for Justice in Georges County. Welcome, guys. Can we at least put out hello?
Hello.
Y'all know how it is. Okay, there we go. Just like the Mickey Mouse Club. You guys know how it is with young people. So, like I said in the introduction, it's very important for us to hear you guys' voice. So I want to start with, and any of you four or plus more can answer this. What is going on in the world today? What is happening? What is happening? Don't make me call you out.
So there's a lot of racism and discrimination and police brutality going around in the world. As a lot of people know, the death of George Floyd, Janiya Wilson, Michael Minor, just all killed from police brutality. Like George Floyd was, a police officer kneeled on his neck for 9 minutes Mia Wilson was killed in her sleep in her own home. Oh, because of police. Oh no, wrong house, my mistake. And they think that, some people think that type of stuff is okay. And it's really not. I don't get how people can treat someone of color this way just because of, just like, we have more melanin than them. Big deal. Like, why do you need to treat us differently because we are different colors? We are being treated differently than whites because
Dan, you want to jump in there before I, go in?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you all for taking this stance. As young people in the world, I get it maybe a little scary going to uncharted territory, but I appreciate you all for having a voice and showing other teens, hey, we're not too young to do this kind of thing. So with you all being teenagers, I want to know exactly how do you go about organizing? Because with teenagers, they're kind of into their own thing. They're trying to find their way in the world. You just go to someone and say, hey, what's going on is wrong. Let's do something. Like, what's the process of getting organized?
Everybody, come on.
Yeah.
I told you we're going to talk to us. We're the big brothers and sisters today.
Yeah.
All right, Paul, come on, Paul.
How did we start organizing? My cousin first organized it, and we protested near a street near her house, where we made different signs like "Come for equality," "Come for justice," stuff like that. And then we went on to make a Facebook, and we started going to other people's protests, showing support, and we just kind of evolved into something different, like a group, a nonprofit organization.
So tell people the name of your group. You said you organized. I mean, is this like, a Care Bears club? Is this like a punk club? Is this like, what? Don't laugh at me. I'm trying to be cool too. So what organization are you guys representing? I kind of already said it, but I want to hear it from you guys.
We are Teens for Justice.
And so what? What does that mean? Who is that?
We have a lot of people contact us and they're like, hey, I want you to be a part of our movie. Hey, I want to interview you. Hey, can you come up to this protest? So we really want to go to everything that we can. So we've gone to many protests and we've gone to many interviews. And all we want to do is just like make us known, and we want to make our voices bigger than they are.
So when you guys are at these protests and what have you, what are you doing? Are you just standing around? Are you dancing? Are you what are you doing? Like, you gonna talk to us tonight? I'm just letting y'all know right now. So what are you guys doing while you're out there? I mean, why do you go? What's the point? It might sound like a dumb question, but some people may not have heard of your organization. So we're getting people to get used to you, and then we're also getting you to talk too. I told you I'm gonna pull it out of you one way or another. Come on, Paul. You my team. You my own find out. What you got?
Me.
All right, go ahead.
we protest. We go to these protests so we can show how much we care. Like Teens for Justice, we're all about the future. Like we talk to Board of Education. We go to these protests because we want people to know that we want a better future for ourselves. So we have to make that happen. That's why we give the things we do.
So Daniel, James.
Yeah.
So I got a question. With you all being on the front lines and again being as young as you are, were there any reservations and like, hey guys, should we really do this? Like, is this our place? Were there any fears involved when you all first decided to get together and do this?
Yes. So what kind of fears? What do you fear? Go ahead.
I see myself as somewhat of an introvert, and when we first started protesting, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna stay on the side of the highway and be like, I was kind of nervous when I first did that, but afterwards this weekend, when we kept doing it, I ended up being the person on a microphone listening chants. So I think this is really good for like teens' mental health because this really brought me out there, and I'm not as exposed as I was.
Mm-hmm.
What things did you guys do to try to overcome that fear?
At first, I was kind of nervous too because as much support as we got a lemonade, like people throwing their fingers, saying all lives matter. But I overcame all that nervousness just by keep doing it. Like I got used to it. At first, I didn't like to be talking and stuff, but I was kind of put in a place where like I have to say speeches and stuff. So I kind of just do that.
Okay.
All right. So when you were, go ahead. Go ahead, Daniel. So when you guys were talking about some of the fears, I want to kind of talk about it day to day. So when you guys get up in the morning and you leave out, do you ever have that sense or that fear that something can happen to me because I'm Black, or something can happen to me because I'm a young person, or something can happen to me because I'm a Black female or Black male? Well, tell me about it. You shook your head, yes.
Must say, is that Paul?
Come on, Paul. You're not gonna give me anything today.
Right. We want to hear y'all opinion on things. Like we know y'all got a lot to say.
Can you reword the question for them?
Sure. Let me make it simpler. So when I'm getting up, right? I get up in the morning. I pray that I'm gonna have a good day. That I don't get pulled over by the police for no reason. That I don't get stopped for no reason. That I don't get stereotyped when I go into a store because, I might not be dressed in business attire. I might be dressed down in, regular clothes per se. So I might get stereotyped as somebody that a business or a police officer or someone else that experienced it. So they may look at me as, she might be a shoplifter. She might, be someone who has a boyfriend who's a drug dealer. She just might be Black. So I'm going to stop her just because I have to make a quota, or because I feel like picking with her today, or because I don't like Black people. Do you guys ever have any of those thoughts or anything being as young as you are? Or maybe you have any experiences? Let's back it up. Have you guys had any experiences dealing with racism? Let's start there.
Yes. At my school, I go to Caroline Middle in Virginia, and let's just say it's not a good environment. The teachers and the staff and the principals and the counselors, they treat the Blacks differently than the whites.
How so?
Discipline, the types of worksheets that we get, where we get to sit in classrooms. Like in 6th grade, I even had this one teacher that literally separated the whites and Blacks from each other.
Wow.
The classroom, Black side on the other side of the classroom. And she would even put some of them in the side of the room. And I would be that child that had to sit by themselves in the corner of the room. I told my mom about it, and she talked to the principal about it, but like the principal was a white principal, and she said, "Oh, we'll work about it," and nothing happened. In 7th grade, I got in trouble a lot because people would like to spread rumors about me. I would tell them about it, and they would say, "Oh no, she's doing this to me," and they would believe that. And I would get suspended. I would get in trouble.
So you're saying that you would get in trouble for telling something that was offending or bothering you or bullying you or picking on you. You would be the one, even though you were the victim at the time.
Yes.
Wow. And so when you told your parents about you having to sit separate, what was the response? What happened? Go ahead.
From my parents or from the school?
Both. I'm curious now.
When my parents first heard about it, they were like, "Oh no!" At first, they were in disbelief, and then I told them. I talked about it more. I told the teacher's name. We even had parent-teacher conferences about it, kind of not exactly about it, but about it. You know what I mean? And the school was just like, "Oh, that's not good. We'll work on it. We'll make sure everyone gets treated equally," in a very sarcastic way. And it never really changed.
So, and I know you being a child, so I don't want you to feel the pressure of these questions that I'm asking you, but did you ever ask your parents to go to the school board or to the Board of Education because it was still something that was giving you discomfort?
I didn't think about it. My parents thought about doing it, and they did. And they just took it into the same thing. They did the same thing. They pretty much said, "Oh, we'll work on it. We'll let our teachers and staff know."
Here's the top search results. So what they ended up doing is taking her out of the school, and now she's been schooled online.
Okay. But you shouldn't sing it out anymore because majority of students now are doing homeschooling, right? So you feel a lot better about that too. Daniel, James, you have anything?
Since we brought the parents with you all again being on the front lines, how's the support been from your parents? In the midst of you all doing all this. And so again, being so young, you don't really know what you're walking into. How have your parents groomed you and just are they letting you just go and do whatever you want, or are they guiding you along the way? Like, this is how you properly protest. This is how you tell the world what you're actually protesting for, things of that nature. So what has been their role? How supportive have they been?
My dad has been very supportive. He joined the first one that I went to, and he's been supportive. He always asked how and stuff like that. My mom, she's been supportive, but she worries about my safety.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of have to support you because they have to buy those supplies for you, right, to make your signs and what have you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Daniel, did you have anything?
Yeah, what would you say to other teens who think they're too young or that their voice won't be heard?
You're never too young to share your opinion. I mean, this is for your future, so you should always speak your mind when you feel something wrong, and you should always protest in a way that makes you feel safe or stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. So you guys go out there, right? You go to the protests, you go to the marches. You guys may even do chants, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what are you hoping? I know you said about having a better future, but what exactly are you hoping that will happen in the future? I know you guys aren't fortune tellers, you can't predict the future, but what things ideally would you like to see changes that you would like to see?
So we're basically just looking for acknowledgement to the fact that this world that we live in is not equal, and we want them to take accountability to themselves so they can be out there and say, I support Black lives, I'm going to treat everybody equally, and I understand that it's very important. Like, this is not just a small thing. It's been within us for hundreds and hundreds of years. So we really need to change that, and we just want people to know, like,
James?
Okay.
I'm not sure how familiar you are with, the civil rights movement, the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, things like that with Snake and Core and that era. But who has been your inspiration, if anyone, whether it be a group of individuals or a particular person? Like, who's the one that said, I want to do what he, she, or what they did? This is how I'm going to model my vehicle for change. If anyone, because someone's going to look at you all. Some kid is like 8, 9 years old right now. They're looking at y'all and say, when I get 13, 14, 15, I'm going to be just like Madison, Andrea, Janiya, Paul. You see what I'm saying? So who is it that you all look back towards to kind of mold your way?
Paul ain't gonna say nothing.
I mean, if it's no one, if you just kind of, made your own lane, that's cool too. That's very dope, that you kind of had to just get it from scratch. But it's always good to have, a blueprint, especially someone has already put it down for you.
Y'all want us to give you guys an example of what we're talking about? Would that help you? All right. So, James, you go first because it was your question.
How you going to ask?
Okay, because it was your question. So, you got to go first.
Okay. Okay, so I'll take it as not in the social justice form, but as a business person. My father was the first person to introduce me to entrepreneurship. He took me on Andrews Air Force Base to sell oils, and he taught me how to talk to customers, how to get their message across. So when I got back into my business as an older, 20-something years old, look back at those moments, and I knew what my father taught me. So I kind of moved that way. So is there anyone in that realm that you all look back towards to teach you how to go about doing things the proper way? Because some people can protest in the wrong way, depending on how you think of things. So who's that person that you all look toward to say this is how we should go about things? You won't got raised hands?
I look towards my Rosa Parks, like also the female people in my family, because as a girl myself, I look towards female people that protest about their rights as people of color. So I just look towards those people.
Daniel, who inspired you? Who do you look up to?
Who inspired me? I would have to say my grandmother. So you're talking to a group of library staff members, whether we are tech assistants, clerk assistants, library associates. You're talking to a bunch of library staff. My grandmother is really who introduced me to the love of reading and the love of literature and books. And there's power in the page. And you can learn just so much information. So I probably wouldn't be in the career of librarianship that I'm in now if she hadn't been like, okay, here's a book. I want you to read this book. Check out this book. Check out this book. And introducing me to just so many different forms of literature and actually discussing that with me just to build up that love of learning and love of literature and reading and books. So, yeah.
So for me, it was my grandparents as well. You see how we're giving you examples, Paul? Still pick on you. I don't even want to say this because I know that Daniel and James are probably going to use it against me later, so I need y'all to have my back, okay? But my grandmother was the one who said, don't take anything from anybody. My grandfather said common sense. So when I was 15, 13, and 17, I had to try to balance between, not taking any foolishness and having common sense. Well, I didn't learn common sense until I was a little older, but the foolishness part, I had that spiciness. I wanted to be involved in something. And so those were the people that influenced me. So even with you guys getting out there and wanting to protest and participate and have your voices be heard, how has this made you more confident about yourselves? How has this given you, and I know somebody touched on it a few minutes ago, but I want to know, how did this give you the boldness to say enough is enough? I have to have that, I'm not taking this anymore, but I have to be able to use common sense with it as well. But I gotta get y'all some bubble gum or something.
And this is good for you all because other people, when you start doing interviews, they're gonna ask you some of these same questions, so you'll already be prepared. You'll be confident in what you say. So this is like a learning experience. This is just open talk.
For me, when I started saying chants out loud, when I finished, I had this feeling of accomplishment, which I love. And so after that feeling of accomplishment, it's like, okay, I want to do more. And then me knowing that it's for a good cause is just like perfect for me. So I really like doing it. So it's basically just like an accomplishment that I get after each protest.
All right, somebody else? That was good. I appreciate that. Thank you.
For me, it's basically like the internal hurt feeling of that this is like continuously happening, that it's getting worse and worse and worse, and it like hurts inside for me. And I'm just like, I can't sit here, suffer, and let this happen. I have to stand up for myself, being the age I am, especially the age I am. And it just makes me feel good that we made a group and that we're standing up for people of color at the age we are. And this generation, I feel that can make a change, being that we are so young.
One of the other reasons why I wanted to have this conversation is because I know being a young person and going through adolescence already can be stressful. So then when you factor in now have to deal with race relations and issues and trauma and all these things that are going on, you guys sometimes don't have anyone to talk to. So I think it's very important that there is a team for justice so that you guys can share and converse with one another and really release those feelings and those emotions, because the truth of the matter is if you guys start having mental breakdowns now and that mental health issue start developing, I'm telling you right now, I think I have it. But if that work happens, then that's going to cause you guys to have mental health issues as adults. So I'm glad that you guys are tackling and releasing these emotions now that you're experiencing. So with that, I know I heard hurt, I heard pain. What are some of the other issues? I heard anger, I believe. What are some of the emotions that, even just, getting up day to day that you see going on? How do you, give me some more of your feelings and emotions. I really want to play with you guys. And this is safe space. Paul said he's not saying nothing. Leave him alone.
Yeah, boy, you gotta give me something.
Paul, do we get a word, hi, something?
Paul's just shy.
I'm sorry. Hang around us. Come to the smaller library. We got you, Paul. We're gonna get you. Okay. But no, you guys. I mean, just how are some of the? Okay, let me give you an example. When I hear about the news, I hear about the murders of adults and children. When I see senseless killings, when I, have to experience and attend these funerals, I feel angry. I feel disappointed. I feel bothered. And then I feel like, what can I do? Like, what should I be doing? Is there something else that I could have been doing? So I kind of have to learn not to take those burdens upon myself, but I still have to do something. Does that make sense? I think you guys just knocked your audio. There we go. Does that make sense, young people? Yeah. Yes? No? So tell us some of those, we want to hear it from you. We want to know what you guys are thinking and going through right now.
For me, mainly, it's mostly confusion and anger.
I love you. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Confusion and anger.
Go ahead.
Anger and confusion. Especially with the George Floyd case, you would think that not only the cop standing or kneeling on his neck would think to take his knee off, or one of the officers that was with him would tell him to stop. But none of that happened.
Okay, somebody else. That's good, Paul. I appreciate you. I was just gonna wait. I was so happy that you said something. You made my day.
And you all you're definitely in your emotions. You know, I want everyone kids to, because I hear some kids that I talk to, they ask me, should I feel this way? Like, you have the right to feel how you feel, especially in these times. I know it's true, but these aren't justified. So it's okay to open up and talk to other people about it. You know, I get it. Even as a teenager, I didn't want to talk to anybody. You know, I barely talk to people now, but especially as a teenager, I didn't want to discuss my feelings with anybody. So again, like LaDonna said earlier about the whole mental health, you know, obviously this kind of thing is very stressful on us. And I'm glad you all had this group of teens that can you can identify with and speak with. But going into that, what has been how's the support been from other peers outside the ones that are already in your circle? When you go to other kids, do any of them say, "Oh, this is a bug I had. We need to just relax, do my homework, and hang out with our friends"? But what has been the support like from people outside of the kids?
Like, what do your friends say about it?
I get a lot of positive feedback from my friends. Like, oh wow, I'm so proud of you, Janiya, stuff like that. They like it, but I feel like they don't really have the mindset that it's actually important, not just for like publicity.
Mindset. Tell me about that. What is the mindset of you all? What kind of mindset do you have to be a part of the organization?
I believe our mindset is just based on us wanting change. Like, we just want something to happen, like protests, doing rallies and stuff. That, okay, yes, we're getting the word out, but is there gonna be anything that's gonna happen after that? So,
You want to be very, very specific. Like I said, the protests are all pretty for specific action that you all are trying to get. So what's the you talk about racism in the schools earlier, right? So what specific action do you think can be taken to eliminate some of these things? Is it the firing of the teachers? Is it the changing of school policy? Like, what is the exact change you think? In any realm, I just use school as an example.
So we talked to Aisha Grayboy about changing the school curriculum and actually changing it so we can be told the truth.
Be told the truth. What do you mean? Wait a minute, hold on. What do you mean be told the truth? I'm going to interrupt you. You're not going to ice skate over it. What do you mean told the truth? Come on.
So we have history class. In those classes, I believe we get told irrelevant stuff that we need to know about our past. So we need to know about our Black future. Because when I look back on what I've been taught in middle school, I don't know anything about my Black culture. The only thing that I know about my Black culture is what my grandma been teaching me and what my mother's been teaching me, and other stuff that we're learning while we're doing this group. So we really need to be told that in the schools because that's important. And I don't believe that that shouldn't be in our textbooks. Because they would either have a white man dressed up as a Black man from Egypt, and that's not what our past looked like. We need to be told the truth.
That's awesome. Go ahead, James.
So when you're thinking about getting support and those teens who may be apprehensive about getting involved at the age that they are, what are some of those things? What are some of the things you would tell teens who want to get started with the activism you're doing, but don't know where to start?
I think you should tell them by just doing little things, but something, like anything counts. Like making something as little as making a small post on Instagram saying Black Lives Matter, or like we did, go on the local place and hold up signs protesting, or
just showing support. Like, to get started, we kind of just put our group together, and we just went to events that we were invited to. We started out on the side of the road, highway 210. And,
wow.
the that's how we started out, and then we progressed and we went on to go to actual organized protests in different places. So I'll just say, have
Take your time, take a deep breath.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Good. You got it.
I would say start small and then continuously make more connections so you can make bigger changes and bigger notice. So when we first started, it was just, hey, want to post some signs on the side of the highway. Easy, simple, So after, when we kept communicating with people, we did more stuff, like being in movies, not movies, but radio interviews and other protesting and stuff. So I would just say start small and gradually build yourself up to bigger projects.
So what can we as adults do to support you? Like, you guys can have a wish list and say, I need the adult to do X, Y, Z. What are some of those things that you need us to do to support Teens for Justice? How can we help you guys? No wish list?
Shots for them. You could follow us on our socials. Or
You said we can call you.
No, so what is your social media? We got about 25 people watching. Your social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, whatever y'all have.
So the reason I'm asking you guys is because, like, I have someone in the chat now, Matt from Riverdale Park, who wants to know how he can support you. You have Jade, that's the president of Paul's fan club at this point. So we're trying to show you guys the support from I'm not going to say the older, I'll say more seasoned of us who are on this earth. And so we're trying to say, hey, do you guys need us to help you make signs? Do you guys need us to, give you water? Do you guys need us to be just a listening ear? James said he'll write a check. Do you?
I will. I will.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're going to keep it young. He said he'll cash out. So what do you guys need from us so that you guys can continue to do your fight for justice? Because we could be sitting here talking to the future Martin Luther Kings, Rosa Parks, Coretta Scott Kings, their names are slipping my mind. The gentleman who just passed away. Oh my gosh, James, help me out. His funeral was today.
John.
Yes, John Lewis. Yes. And so we could be looking at these future leaders. John Lewis, thank you, Rebecca. And so what we're trying to do is say, okay, they had help. They rallied people together. They had meetings. They had, conversations. What can we do to help the Teens for Justice?
When we first started out on the side of the road, we had like a lot of adults come up and give us water and give us like juice and stuff. So that's how we first got support from the adults. And we also we have Cash App, PayPal, and all that stuff. So donations would help with transportation, sciences, stuff like that. And
We have social media accounts, and a big thing that would help us is if you would just tell people you know about us, so we can be known.
And what is you guys' social media information?
Put it inside the chat. The Instagram is at Teens for Justice 24/7. That's their IG. Facebook is Teens for Justice, Prince George's County. But I don't want you guys to think that we're leaving you yet. I want to ask a kind of a difficult question. So the name of your organization is called Teens for Justice. Does that only represent Black teens, or is it all Teens for Justice?
We have a lot of different people of different cultures, colors in our group. So we mean what our Teens for Justice means. We mean justice for victims of police brutality and things that we're fighting for. But we also want to think about our future, and we want a nice future for all teens. So we are all treated equal. Yeah.
Okay. So if I have a friend who's white and they want to join Teens for Justice, it's okay for them to join, in other words.
Yeah, we have white people.
Okay. Go ahead, James.
Like, on the application, or they just like pull up in the DM, like, how do I go back? I'm 13. I want to rock with y'all. What's the process? Walk me through it.
We have application forms. So you just reach out to us and we just hand out the application. And we review you. And that's how you do it.
So everybody ain't getting in. You guys are putting me on it.
We're trying to get more members. That's our goal. So we do want more members.
Of course.
Okay. Daniel, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
How do people reach out to you? Do social media? Do they just send you a DM, email, call you up, phone number?
We have our own Facebook and Instagram, and we even have an email. So that's how you contact us. Yeah. Email, Facebook.
What's the email in the chat?
Yeah, it's in there.
The
So
email.
I don't have the email yet, but I'm sure it'll be posted soon. So let me ask you this thing. Have you guys had anyone close to you experience any of those things? I see it's waiting for them to reconnect. So James and Daniel, we'll just talk until we wait for them to come back. So have you guys had any experiences, with racism, with being discriminated against, with, issues or what have you? And never mind, my teens are back. I'm trying to cover until you guys got back. So young people, I think they laughed at you too, James, or somebody fell out of the chair. You know, young people. But so here's my question for you guys. Have you guys ever had anyone personally have you had any personal experiences? Meaning, and if this too sensitive, just say no, I don't want to answer it. Have you guys ever had anyone close to you, either be injured or had issues with the police or, been, killed or anything like that?
No. Not family.
No. Awesome. I'm happy to hear that. To be honest with you. I'm very happy to hear that. So I'm glad. You guys have any questions for us?
Yes. How do you guys feel about this whole movement?
Ooh. James, you go first. Go ahead.
Why did it come to me? Why?
She's picking on you, James.
Exactly. Look. So talking about the movement Teens for Justice. I love it. Honestly, at the age of 13, I was interested in going outside playing with my friends. I wasn't thinking anything about social issues, even though obviously we were out in the open, even when I was 13. I just think it takes a different type of person to do what you all are doing at this age. Granted, the George Floyd thing might have started it off, but there has to be some kind of trigger for each generation to make them say, you know what, we're not doing this anymore. Like, we're not going to let things continue the way they are. So I love what you all are doing. I just want you to stay strong in it, because as you go along, even the kids that come up under you, they're going to be those naysayers that say, again, you're too young. It's not your fight. Give it up. Go back to school, play with your friends, whatever. But you all know there's a bigger goal in mind. You're trying to set up the kids that are 4 or 5 or whatever up, so when they get older, they might have to deal with the same issues that you are. So I applaud you all so much for doing this. Please don't stop. Even as you get past the teenager years, still continue this fight for equality for all of us.
Yeah, just piggybacking off what James said, thank you for all the work you guys have been doing. It's very important. When I was a teenager, I was a part of an organization called Teen Court, where we basically were operating in an organization that focused on restorative justice for teens, as opposed to straight incarceration in the juvenile justice system. We offered alternative measures of punishment because we saw value in those teen lives. And I think you guys are really setting a good example for your peers. I always say teens respond to what teens create. And I feel like you guys have created such a powerful example of just doing activist work at your age. And I just want to say, keep going, because it's important. We see you, I see you, and other people are seeing you as well. So good job.
So as I respond, guys, Olivia, so please try, if you can get Melvin Jackson Jr. on the line. I'm going to put him kind of on the spot to give the team some advice and words of encouragement. So if you can, if that's possible, just let me know. But while you're working on that, I want to say that I support you guys 250%. I really appreciate you guys having the boldness and when you say the entire movement, enough is enough. I'm tired of waking up, hearing the news, watching TV. It gets to the point where I want to turn it off because it's so much going on. But then I know that the fight has to continue because changes need to be made. Things have to change. We cannot keep going through this cycle over and over again. And 20, 30, 50 years from now, we're at the same point. So there has to be a point where all of this had to come to a boiling point and a breaking point so that changes can be made. So now the changes from my generation and James and Daniel's generation and everyone else that's listening, it's like we're not passing the torch, we're sharing the torch with you. You know, we're in this all together. So that's why I was asking you earlier, what can we do for you? Because there's our hands, we can reach a certain amount of people. You guys can reach a certain age group. Because be honest, y'all don't want to hear from us. Y'all want to hear from people your own age, right? Y'all look at us as being old because we got a little bit of gray hairs and stuff, but it's still cool. But whatever, James. So
I'm very youthful.
Right.
They come to me. So you see why I need your generation because I can't deal with them. I just can't deal with them. I need other people that are, fresh-minded, not James. I love y'all. But no, so seriously, we just want you guys to know, like, you gotta keep doing it, keep fighting. Those days when you feel like this is not making a change, each one of you guys has one little voice. And when you guys put those voices together, it's loud. So I want to hear some of those chants that y'all be doing. James, he's a fraternity person. So I want to hear some of those. Yeah. He's screaming any other time, but we went on the phone with you. Let's go. Come on.
You want to?
What?
You want to hear?
I like we're at a protest, right? I don't have a real sign, but I'm gonna get like you know what?
Right. Somewhere.
Okay, wait. So pretend like this has words on it, okay? And so I pull out my sign. I'm walking with Teens for Justice, and what are we saying? Come on, let's go. Now you're not gonna get about a mile or so, but we gonna work on that. Come on.
So some like actually chance it.
Yeah. Hold the sign and we ain't saying nothing.
Okay. Hey, ho ho! These racist cops have got to go, and then we will be like say her name, and then we'll say Breonna Taylor, say his name, George Floyd.
Hold up! I didn't get to say my hey ho ho. Okay. So we're gonna. Is that how y'all? If y'all go out there, you like, hey ho ho! These racist cops gotta go. That's how y'all do it.
The nail LaDonna.
Is that how y'all do it?
Oh no. Yeah, you can't
Oh man.
See, y'all don't know how to deal with young people. That's why they like you. You see. So, bam.
Okay.
All right, so let's go. Come on, James and Dave. Y'all better do it too. Don't have me sitting out here looking solo. All right. And those of you who are watching at home, you can do it too. Just wake the babies up. Okay, let's go. All right. Come on, let's go.
We're gonna try one more time.
Hey, ho ho! These racist cops have got to go. Hey, ho ho! These racist cops have got to go. Hey, ho ho! These racist cops have got to go. Hey, ho ho! These racist cops have got to go. Say your name,
Breonna Taylor.
Say your name,
Breonna Taylor. Like that, okay. See, this is not fair because you guys have done this with each other. So the three of us, we're sitting there like, And y'all already done got it going on in practice, so y'all just ruined my whole little That's fine, we won't do it. So what else do you guys do? You go out there, you talk to the protesters, or you go out and protest, you go out to marches. What do you guys like to do in your fun time? When you're not protesting or thinking of the next legal matter or change, what are some of the things you like to do here at home? Anybody play Xbox?
Yeah, we play Fortnite. We're mostly on TikTok.
Oh, TikTok.
TikTok of it all.
Oh, man.
Is there a TikTok song that you guys do for justice, or you just making up some songs? Y'all doing some Megan and the Savages and all that crazy foolishness. And then they clowning me like,
oh my
god. So we just got a pool in my backyard. I usually like to go out in the pool, or sometimes I would chill out on the hammock and listen to some music. I would play with my pet or my brother because he likes a lot of attention. Huh?
Paul's your brother?
No.
I just want to say Paul's name. I need to say Paul's name. You gave me that look like, don't say my name no more. I ain't gonna tell you again. I got you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, roll over.
You know what? Like, I'm trying to get to the point of when you guys aren't like focused on the legal matters. Like, do you ever just take a debrief? Just say, let me take a break from this for a second, regather my thoughts, and then I'll be ready to do some more.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the TikTok.
When I'm on my free time, I like to read and watch movies, and I like to skateboard. I recently got an accident, so I took a break.
Oh Lord, we have a librarian in the making. I smell it.
What's the last book you read?
Huh?
What's the last book you read?
The last book I read?
Mm-hmm.
What's the last book I read? Wait, let me think, because it's been a while.
So you guys do a lot of research on what was your book?
You're supposed to say, "Oh, I just read so many, it's hard to pick one." That's what you're supposed to say. That's a PR lesson for you. I just read so many, it's hard to just pick one.
I watch you now. So do you guys?
I'm telling you the game.
Do you guys research like legislation and justices, or do you just watch the news and say, "Hey, I want to be part of that"?
We do both.
Okay.
You do what? I'm sorry, I missed that one.
We do both.
You do both? Okay, so you just use Google, or do you guys use your local library? Shameless plug.
The library is closed at where I live.
I don't already.
Check out our online resources. We got tons of stuff for you guys.
We're open online. Yeah, Rebecca. Yeah, we are open online.
Definitely.
Thank you, Rebecca. We've been open online since March and beyond. So we have tons of resources that are available for you, digital resources. We have the New York Times, the Washington Post. So instead of you watching it on Fox 5 or all those other stations, you can actually go and actually read it online. You can actually see people are putting the stuff up there for you. So y'all can't voice anymore. Not at all. So did anyone in chat have any questions for our group of young people? Thank you, Ann.
I did.
I'm sorry, James, real quick. I gotta do this.
And I'm asking a question. She asked about background checks. You know, I guess when you all are accepting new members, are there any like background checks you all go through? I don't think I heard the exact criteria. Like, what is
we don't do background checks. We have a list of roles that people apply for. Currently, we're kind of reviewing the main roles, so people can apply to be a member, and we just want people to answer questions like, why do you want to be a part of this group? What's the goal? Stuff like that. We don't do
to make sure that they're serious.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
You're being serious.
So what's the age range? Because I might want to join.
It's over.
So our name is Teens for Jacqueline.
Oh!
So
You played yourself, Matt.
No, you came from me hard on that one. But I could be a teen at heart. So what's the difference? I know. I gotta plug this too because if not, I will get. Oh my gosh! So Ann Jennifer said we have curbside pickup, meaning that you can place an order online through PGCMLS.info. Tell us what books you want. Daniel will pull them for you and bring them out to your parents' car or your bike or walk up. Shameless plug for PGCMLS. Other libraries do it too, but you know, we represent PGCMLS. All right. So come on, give us more questions.
I got you for your next book.
And he gonna pick the thickest one, you know that, right? But anyway, go ahead. Give me another question. Come on, give it to us. You ask you all the question, then you have a chance to ask anything you want. Anything. Nothing.
Yeah.
if you could persuade a person that doesn't like to read books, how would you persuade them? Like, what would you tell them?
I'm gonna digress that to the librarians.
Well, I would say that there are so many different ways you can read books. That's one. You can listen to books. If you're not the physical reader, if you don't like the pages, you can always listen to them. We have audiobooks on CD. We have playaways. We can also download to your laptop, computer, smartphone, or MP3 player. I would also say that there are so many different types of things you can read. Reading a magazine is okay. Reading a newspaper is okay. Reading a book is, that's my thing, but that's awesome. We have graphic novels, so if you like to read along with pictures, you can do that. Just read something. Reading is known to stimulate the brain and just help you access those higher parts of your thought process. And it also keeps your vocabulary up. Studies show that the more you read, the better you do in school. So I'm always an advocate for at least reading a book a month, or just take however long it takes you to get through a book, read it. Just read, basically.
We're definitely doing that. That's going to be on the library website coming soon. That pitch was perfect. and also, even like say as a teen, I wasn't really reading. I didn't get back into reading until I started working at the library at the age of 21, 22, something like that. But I just tell kids, even my boys group, I just say read what interests you. Everything doesn't have to be about history, geography, biology, that kind of stuff. Because that's what a lot of kids say. Like, I don't want to read the stuff I get in school. Whatever you like graphic novels, I tell my parents all the time, let them read those kind of things. Like they're still learning vocabulary, their creative juices are flowing. So don't let anyone tell you like that's not a good book to read for whatever reason. Like if you like it, if you're interested in that subject, read it. That's for you. And that's what I noticed most kids. That's when they start to gravitate more towards books, when they realize they can decide what they want to read because it's what they want to read.
Yeah. Even Janae says, even online articles are important. And you're always online anyway. I know what it's like to be a teenager. You're always online anyway. So look at some of those online articles. Like stay informed, stay up on current events, even online, because I know that's going to be the easiest way for everybody nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only gonna answer because I know if I don't answer, I'm gonna catch it. So when I started working at the library, fast forward now that I work at the library, I'm not gonna say I was afraid of books, but they were just so, and so you didn't know what to choose from. And so what I started doing was the things that I cared about, which I don't want to tell the topics. It's nothing like that, but those topics that I cared about, those are the books that I went and got. So kind of listening to what the librarian said makes sense. And then I'm more of a computer person. So I'd rather, have like the article or the book or whatever I'm reading or the Google or whatever, and then have something fun over here too. Not saying that reading is not fun. I'm clarifying it right now, but that's just me, because after a certain amount of time, I guess unofficial ADD kicks in and I start wandering about other stuff and daydreaming and fantasizing. So if I read a book about, I'll use Daniel stuff. If I read a book about a comic book, then I'm going to start thinking about comic book characters that I can, develop and design and write about stuff like that too. So it's like a catapult with something else. Does that make sense? So read what you care about. Read what matters. Read what you like. Okay? All right. Come on, give us another one.
The lid looking tired.
I know. I'm tired. So y'all work today? You had to work 8 hours today? You had to get your coins today? You had to get the bag up today? You're right. So give me another one.
Tomorrow. Oh, what?
I love
I so I get my coins up.
Hey, I can count about 10 times that I done got cane for on this phone call. So
Look, that's
I'm gonna have to make sure that I work around a bunch of teams. But that's okay. That's fine. I was trying to get my friend Melvin Jackson. Hey, did you guys see the New Edition movie and some other things? No, but just type the comments in there. He was talking to you guys, give you guys some encouragement about going, all that stuff. Hi, Paul. So she lotion on her leg. Anything else for us? You have 3 awesome people on the phone or on the computer. It doesn't get more awesome than this. What you got? Anything in the world. Anything.
I didn't hear anything.
Do you have any additional questions for them?
Have y'all gone into any protests?
Yeah, one in DC.
Yeah, I did one in DC as well.
So what had happened was
Right on Black Lives Matter Boulevard.
Okay, let me tell you what I did. I'm the one that so I don't know if you guys have learned this, but I'm gonna give you a quick lesson. Everyone throughout marches and protests, there are different roles. So there are those who are going to go on the front line. There are those who are going to disseminate communication and information. There are those who are going to bring water. There are those who are going to, lead. There are different roles. So I took on the role as sharing protests from East Coast to West Coast, letting people know where they are, what's going on, what time they are. So I'm more like the administrative assistant of the protest for y'all, but I do plan on going out. See, in my defense, sometimes I didn't know about them until after the fact, or I had to telework or work. So I was, obligated. But and then to be honest with you, when those first sets started happening, I was like, I don't know if I'm going down there. There was too much violence and too much craziness at first. And I'll be honest with you, I was trying to use wisdom, but I do plan on going out, and hopefully the momentum to protest in March won't stop until changes are made. So I just don't want you guys to be tired. So let us know your next one. I mean, James said he'll go. James said he'll go. I'll share the information.
You ain't hear me say it, but I said it.
I'll come to, we'll come to. We'll try to make it to it if we can. All right?
We should be posting the next one that we're going to go to on our Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Okay. So make sure you tag me, and then I'll share it with them. Or all of us who are watching tonight, we're going to go and follow you guys on your social media. So I'm challenging everyone that's watching the broadcast, go show your support, leave them a comment. Rebecca said she's already followed you. Jay said he already followed you. People are already following you guys. We're going to, shout you out. We're here to support you. So we want to say again, thank you guys for coming out and just giving us your insight, your voice. Even you, Paul, thank you. We appreciate you. For even taking the time out representing, you know what I mean? You just laughed at me again. That's like 7 times. I think I
laughed at Paul.
That's right. He's the only guy, I call him the guy. So he was there. So he had to represent, like they said.
MVP today.
Oh, you got a fan club, Paul. They said you're the MVP. They said right now, you know what I mean?
I think we're about to get cut.
Yeah. Yep, gotta say goodnight.
All right, guys. So thank you again. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, John. Have a good night, guys. And keep guys.
Good job, guys.
All right.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye. She said, hey.